In Japan, UK, USA, Singapore, a mattress is changed every 6 to 7 years. In India, it's changed every 18 to 20 years.
It's definitely looked down upon, right? Like sleeping too much.
I think now sleep is sexy. Sleep is the in thing.
100%.
I lost at least around maybe 45 lakhs. And then I started Sleepy Cat with 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs. If our mattress costs 20,000, in a general retail store, it would cost close to 80,000.
You were a brand initially with zero trust equity. You're breaking into a category. How do you build that trust?
I used to call myself Rahul from customer service because otherwise, if I picked up and I said Kabir, and then I should call every consumer, ask them for a review, beg them, got 100 reviews on Amazon.
Big mistake that every founder or D2C player makes that they can avoid?
Excessive performance marketing, thinking that it's going to... I think everyone does raise funding is to accelerate growth. That's what we did. Hence, we moved from profit to losses. I feel offline is the new online. I feel like manufacturing is a moat. In the age of AI, you have to still make the product.
You believe that the entire mattress industry in India was very flawed.
Because the mattress industry in India is...
His parents thought he slept too much. Turns out he was actually just ahead of the market. India is the second most sleep-deprived country in the world behind only Japan. In 2017, Kabir Siddiq decided to do something about it. With just 4 lakh rupees, 30 mattresses, and a simple idea, he launched Sleepy Cat on Amazon. Today, it's a company that's over 250 crore rupees in revenues, competing head-to-head with some of the biggest names in the mattress industry. So how do you build direct-to-consumer brands that actually stand out in a crowded market? What does it take to turn a product as ordinary as a mattress into a category-defining brand? What works? What breaks? And how do you scale it into one of India's most competitive consumer markets? In this episode, I sit down with Kabir Siddiq, the founder of Sleepy Cat, to unpack the playbook behind building and scaling a successful D2C brand in India. From finding product market fit to building a brand that consumers actually remember, this conversation is packed with practical lessons for founders, marketers, and anyone that is looking to build something meaningful. Let's get started. This one's a masterclass. Kabir, so thank you so much for being with us today. To think that you started off with your parents having an issue with you sleeping too much, and now this is what you do for a living. But if we were to wind the clock back, you started off working, in America and Deutsche Bank, and you left that for a more entrepreneurial path. Why is that?
So when I was at banking, I felt like I wasn't meant for the regular 10 hours a day, 10, 12 hours that it required. And I felt like I was always very creative. I felt like I wanted to create something. And journey is an outlet for that. Love for the products, the sleep products, the design, the quality, everything pulled me into a journey like this. Tried working with dad, but that didn't work out.
Yeah, and actually you call yourself an innovator at heart on LinkedIn. And interestingly that you said you try to work with your father. Can you tell us a little bit more? Because you, I believe, invested 35 lakhs in the distribution of a mattress company. Was that related to what he did? And can you tell us about the massive losses that you incurred and what that taught you?
Absolutely. So once I had left Deutsche Bank, went back to Calcutta, thought I'll work with dad, but dad used to send me with a brochure for sales calls, like how it used to be.
So your father was in the furniture?
He was into modular furniture, office furniture, and he used to obviously treat me like the son that needs to get into his business and make me start from scratch. But I wasn't loving that at all. And obviously I had a friend at the same time who was into the mattress business. So I tried working with him. I invested some money for East India, but it didn't work out as well. But that gave me an immense amount of learning.
How much did you lose?
I lost at least around maybe 45 lakhs. And then I started Sleepy Cat with 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs.
Yeah.
So it was an absolutely different ball game altogether.
So 2 lakh rupees and now onto a 250 crore plus revenue company. It started out purely from a need, right? You came back from the US and you said, what are we sleeping on? Tell me more about that. And how did you, move that from idea to execution?
So the love for the products in America, I felt like the comforters, the fluffy pillows, the soft mattresses. India, no one slept on soft mattresses, and all these products, if people were buying, were imported and very expensive. I was trying to understand why aren't people in India given the opportunity to buy all these great products at a low price. And I felt like it's not because people didn't want to buy it. I also felt there was supply starvation where the companies weren't providing these products enough at a good price for people to even buy them. The love of that made me understand that can we build the best of products for the Indian consumer at Indian prices as well. That's where we started, but we had to first crack the logistics because we couldn't afford dealers and distributors if we needed to give a high quality product at a low pricing. So the logistics is what we tackled first.
Okay, I'm going to get into a D2C masterclass later on, but first let me understand a little bit more about your journey. And you believed that the entire mattress industry in India was very flawed, and that's something that you wanted to crack and sort of work on. Why did you think so?
Because the mattress industry in India is very opaque. What I mean by that is that what goes into your mattress, you don't actually understand the price of it, right? It's sold at a very different margin because everyone in the journey requires some amount of money to survive. Whether it's the distributor of, let's say, Maharashtra, then a dealer of Mumbai, then a retailer of Muhammad Ali Road. Everyone requires a 40% margin. By the time the mattress paying for possibly the lowest quality. You're also paying for delivery, logistics. We don't have service elevators. People are coming up 15 floors with your mattress here. Right?
Yeah.
So that was where a low-cost mattress was being sold to you at a high price. You weren't getting quality. You were just getting brand and service.
Okay, interesting. And I believe you started off as a one-man army. It was you looking after sales, operations, everything. And then when you had a really tiny team, you gave different names to them so you could pretend you had more people.
Absolutely correct. I don't know where you found that out from, but yeah, this was during the non-AI times. I was doing everything. And whenever I used to be in customer service as well, I call myself Rahul from customer service. Because otherwise, if I picked up and I said Kabir, and then one lady she got cheesed off. She said, what kind of a company is it where the CEO is picking up customer service calls, and she banged the phone down.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, fine, let's change my name then.
Yeah.
And also in negotiation, it helps sometimes, when you're in operations or in purchase and you were
That's a really smart tactic that people can really adopt.
And say, okay, let me ask Kabir and I'll call you back.
Okay, so you were doing everything. What were the initial days like? Starting out a company with a capital of just 4 lakh rupees.
Yeah, it was obviously tough, but it was a lot of fun, right? I mean, I remember even going to the warehouse, setting up the mattresses, helping 1-2 laborers just pick it up, put it in place, dispatching it, putting the stickers on the box when it's being shipped. So it was everything. It was customer service. Every call was made to every person who purchased in the initial few days. How's your mattress? Can you leave us a review? Can you give me feedback? So it was fun, but obviously with scale, some things changed. I used to even write handwritten notes for each purchase. And then I was like, man, I got to print it now.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So you did start off with that level of personalization, etc. So we will come to customer centricity and how important it is. But I'm sure at the beginning, you've gone on record to say people said, who's going to buy a mattress online? Or why are you even getting into this business?
Even my father said that.
Exactly. So what do you tell the naysayers? And it's very natural for parents to say something like that at a time when no one was doing this. How did you deal with that?
So one is that we were only selling one mattress, not even products, right? It was just that it's a perfect mattress, the correct firmness and softness, zipper cover for washable, and etc., orthopedic. Now, everyone doubted it because it's like one mattress, right? You don't have a portfolio of products. It was such that how do people believe that they should buy this mattress online? So for risk aversion, we gave a 100-night trial. Come, try it, buy it. If you don't like it,
100-night trial.
That's what we have live as well right now.
Okay.
Because we believe our product is that good. If you don't like it, we'll come pick it up from your doorstep and refund you 100% of the money.
Okay.
Anywhere in India, any mattress that we have.
Does that happen?
Does it happen right now? Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
So once you're confident on your product, right, and people aren't they don't have so much moral hazard. They come, they buy the product when they actually genuinely want to experience it or they actually want to purchase it for themselves, only if it doesn't suit their back, because we believe a mattress takes at least 30 days to adjust.
Yeah.
But coming back to online, how did it start? I put a simple video out saying that, hey, we are cheaper, we are better, we are faster, and you have a 100-night trial. If you don't like it, we'll come pick it up from your doorstep. That founder's trust was there in it. And because we were cheaper and better and faster, people tried us. Simple, one mattress available in any size that you want. It was a pull factor, right? People today used to go to the train station to book a ticket. Now IRCTC is there. They'll book it online.
Yeah.
So same way, they could say that, okay, I could buy this mattress online, cheaper, better, faster. That's how they tried. I had 30 units, Amazon.
Okay, and you're speaking about this pull factor that I find quite interesting, right? Because there are hundreds of mattress brands out there, legacy brands that have existed for a long time. And you had to come in there and say, I'm breaking the mold, I'm doing something different. And that's exactly what you did. I believe you were one of the first to bring the concept of compressing a mattress as well into a smaller bag versus carrying the entire mattress.
Correct.
How did that idea come about? What kind of technology did you use?
So America, we experience compressed mattresses. It's simple. It's like, imagine a smiley ball. You can squeeze it as much as you want. It's made of foam. And once you release it, it goes back to its original shape. So a mattress is the same way. You can apply 100 tons of force with a large machinery and quickly vacuum seal it. And it's very high quality foam. Once you vacuum seal it, it's this thin. You can roll it up and put it in the box. But once you open it, it takes complete shape.
Okay. So that's what you did, and you brought it here. And then you did see that I believe the breakthrough was that the mattress went viral on social media, and that's how it sort of picked up momentum.
Absolutely. Because once we were solving a problem, we made it so simple for someone to purchase a mattress. They didn't have to think of the 20 models in a store where they would go. They would be so confused. A salesman is giving them any jargon. They are all giving them high discounts, low discounts. So once they kept it simple, we solved the problem for them to what mattress to buy. Make it very simple. Come buy it. Low cost, best, has all the features. So people are like, okay, man, it's headache free. Let's try it.
Yeah, I think, the fact that you're stressing on this point, you were solving a problem and you were making it simple. And, sometimes we sort of get in our heads with products being super fancy and doing 100 things at one time, but making it actually simple for the customer that would make you want to buy it yourself. That is obviously
Absolutely.
key. But sleep, I'd imagine, was never a category, especially Indians would consider splurging or spending on, or even really thinking about very consciously, because we're talking 2017 when you started. Yes. Why do you think that is? Can you tell us a little bit more about the consumer, how we've evolved, what people initially thought of sleep, as we were discussing earlier, right? Like people want to spend on the sofa and things that they'll show off to others.
Yeah, so sleep and your bedroom is not something that you would want to invest in. Personally, they would say that, okay, whatever mattress, we've all grown up hands me down. Whatever grandparents or parents gave us, we used to sleep on that mattress. I think our generation now is the generation that's buying a mattress for the first time. They've never purchased a mattress. And I was reading a fun fact that in Japan, UK, USA, Singapore, a mattress is changed every 6 to 7 years. In India, it's changed every 18 to 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So that bridge of that gap has to be bridged, and that's also where we are going to benefit from. But it's necessary because people today wake up thinking, oh, I have a back pain for 100 other reasons, but they don't think of the mattress and their sleep. So now people have started realizing the need to invest in sleep, how it makes them feel better the next day that they wake up, they can kill it at work or work out or beauty sleep, They used to invest in the living room, the sofa, the dining table. But now with the growth of even personal care, skin care, they like investing in themselves. It moves into sleep as well. Mattresses, sheets, pillows, comforters.
And who'd have thought we're the second most sleep-deprived country in the world? Am I right with that statistic after Japan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's the hustle culture, People were saying like, oh, you don't need to sleep that much.
Correct.
You work hard.
No, it's definitely looked down upon, right? Like sleeping too much which is now sort of
But
changing.
I think now sleep is sexy. Sleep is the in thing.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Every sort of
Yeah.
wellness coach and every, nutritionist is stressing so much on sleep. Okay, let's talk numbers because, I mean, you guys started off, you were profitable at about 10 crores in FY19. In FY23, you went to about 55 crores in terms of your revenues, but your losses widened. How do you sort of juggle that D2C paradox when it comes to profitability versus growth?
Okay, so we raise funding. That's what happens. We push for growth in the beginning. As long as we know we'll be able to profitable at a later stage or come back to it, the initial days of growth are really necessary. It's about
Okay.
putting your brand out there, putting capex, setting up a factory, launching new products, pushing marketing. So that's the reason I think everyone does raise funding is to accelerate growth. That's what we did. Hence, we moved from profit to losses. But now we are back here, back to profit. So this year would be a year in green. Last year we were right there, just around -2-3%. This year will be in positive.
Okay, and it's important that you said you need to, sort of push on those initial days of growth as long as you know that profitability is coming. Because now investors, market men, VCs, they're becoming smart about that. They're not going to have a company that's just high growth and burning cash and zero when it comes to the profitability factor. How
Absolutely.
important is it now, you think?
I think it's always been important. It's just that there was a wave, a huge D2C wave with a lot of excitement and a lot of money flowing where people were investing in startups left, right, and center, hoping for things to change. But people realized that it's not easy to get profitable and there is a lot of competition. Now, I think it's super important. I think always a business was only a business till it's profitable, right? It's not a business otherwise. Now people really value that because even in a consumer business, longevity plays a role. The longer you survive, the better you do.
Okay. So let's come down to the pricing. I believe that, of course, your pricing can vary anywhere between about 7,000 and go up to about
Yeah.
22,000 and plus.
Correct.
Compared to a traditional mattress store, that is fairly reasonable. So how
Correct.
does the pricing metric work? How do you come to decide that this is going to be my sweet spot and this is what is working for me without losing?
One is that I think we first build product from the perspective of quality innovation. Then we backward calculate what kind of pricing it would sit at. We obviously know we need to be at a certain margin for the Indian consumer. Now, the best part is that we had to build logistics, which were different, right? Which helped us in our price. We don't have a dealer, distributor, retailer. This allows us to ship directly from factory to a consumer. When we do that, we're able to give the price, the money we save, we give back to the consumer. That's why if our mattress costs 20,000, in a general retail store, it would cost close to 80,000. That's the difference we have.
Okay, so now the logistic problem that you faced, you're saying that now most of it is resolved?
Correct. So the traditional industry had logistics where it used to be, a margin system and
Yeah.
with large warehousing and logistics between each partner that takes place, including the end delivery. But if you can courier a mattress to a friend, right? If you can ship something when you're buying apparel online or anything else, this saves everything. So that's where we give the money back to consumers.
Okay, and technology played a key role, I think, from the beginning. Before we were even talking about AI, you had a chat bot, with customer service, and then there's this deep touch pressure technology, things like that. How integral is it, you think, to invest in technology in something so consumer facing, such as your brand?
It is, and in fact, it's very important even on the side of the product, right? So we believe that Indians really sleep hot, and we have a complete cool range where our mattress, our fabric, our pillow, everything sleeps at least like 3 to 4 degrees cooler than the regular room temperature. Even our comforter that we've launched. So we make sure that we're able to work product, fabric, innovation as well. There's a lot of tech that goes into that. A really cool thing is that we have a mattress that is curved to the shape of your body as well.
Yeah.
Where we put an electromagnetic mat. We measured a body's pressure points in Germany, and we're able to design that mattress. It's a computerized mattress right now. So it's cut through a CNC machine. So we actually invest in a lot of technology, even on the back end of things, leaving aside obviously the front end that every other D2C startup needs to work with.
Okay, so you went heavy on the technology from day
Yeah.
one, and you felt that was one of your
We had to
differentiating.
manufacture. So we are manufacturing. If we had to speak about product and own it, we had to manufacture. So we set up manufacturing very early on. Initially, it was China where we had to
Yes.
buy our products, but now we manufacture completely in-house. And we just opened a new factory last month called the Great Indian Sleep Factory, if I must say.
Oh,
thank
congratulations.
you.
That's amazing. Now, the online mattress market is pretty small, and you were initially focused only online. Is that a regret that you have, that you wish you had gotten into the offline retail stores earlier, or do you think that you moved at the right pace?
I think not much earlier, maybe 6 months to a year earlier maximum. But I felt that we needed to grow our brand, have product market fit, people to love and recognize it, the feedback loop to be intense. Once we establish all of that, then moving offline is easy, right? Product is set, packaging is set, customer service is set, tech is set. So now when we move offline, that's why we're moving at the pace that we do, because we know what works.
Okay. And yeah, there's also that the sort of giving back factor, I believe. Can you tell me a bit more about that? For every 10 mattresses that you sell, you give one to the needy. How does that work into your...
So we used to do that in the beginning,
Okay.
where we had a certain number. Now, obviously, the larger we've grown, it's very hard to keep up with that exact ratio. But currently, still, we do that. Whether it's we have pet beds where we recycle our mattresses, where we have some returns, where we take 100, 200 pet beds and we go to a shelter, or we tie up with some NGOs and we give them mattresses for the kids. We still do that in a
That's nice. Okay, let's get really deep into the D2C masterclass now, Kabir, because the D2C market in India is projected to grow to about $300 billion by 2030 as an opportunity. A lot of people want to capitalize on this growth, but it's not for everyone. A, what do you think is driving this growth in India? And B, who is it really for? How do you know that this is the route I need to take?
I keep hearing Gen Zs are really spending firstly. I think they are replicating the American consumer that used to live, let's say, paycheck to paycheck, little bit on credit cards. I'm not saying that they are spending recklessly, but I think they are consumers, the next generation consumers of India. And now 65% of the population of India is now under the age of 34, right? 50% under 30. These guys are now earning the white checks. They are decision makers. They're not taking money from their parents. They're not part of business families. They are driving the consumer growth, the consumer journey of India, along with obviously the millennials that are realizing the need to invest in better quality products as well, right? So that journey, I think, is for a lot of new consumer brands to come in, where they're able to tap into products that not only fill in the gap, but I'm seeing a lot of products and a lot of brands come in just focusing on quality. Because Indian consumers moved on from just saying that, okay, I want the cheapest product available out there. It's a great time to be in the market, but you have to build a niche. And I feel like manufacturing is a moat. In the age of AI, you have to still make the product. It's physical, right? If you own that, it really helps.
Okay, so building a niche, but owning the manufacturing is very critical.
If you can, because otherwise it's white labeling, right? You slap on your own branding onto a bottle or a personal care product or a packaging or a t-shirt, then it's about Meta and Google advertising after that at the end of the day, and how hard that is in today's world.
Speaking of advertising, let me come to that. So say somebody has found their niche, they've started off. How much do you typically spend or advice on ad spending? How much do you think promotional marketing,
Wow.
should be a typical
Very
ad
dangerous
spend?
time for people to start spending and investing, because I think
Why do you say that?
because the whole online world is becoming expensive. I mean, you're fighting for everyone's attention across 3 platforms, right? It's like YouTube, it's Google, it's Instagram. TikTok isn't there in India, but I think in America that really works. So it's expensive now. I think that's why people are going content first. They start with building content themselves, because that is a cheaper way out. Promoting a little bit of the content, but performance marketing is expensive. I think the thumb rule in the D2C world is that you have a ROAS of 3 for, let's say, high margin products, which are personal care and everything else.
Break that down for us. Don't just throw these
Okay,
terms.
sorry.
Come on, say there's someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a return on ad spend
Yeah.
is what ROAS is, where if you spend $1, you should get $3 in revenue. Now, that works for, I think, very high margin products or personal care. For other products, high AOV, it becomes maybe 1:5, 1:6, which is a good thumb rule to maintain. If you spend $1, you should get $5, $6 in return. So if my mattress costs 20,000 rupees to sell, and I should be advertising not more than, let's say, 2.5, 3.
Okay. So that should be the rule of thumb.
That should be the rule of thumb.
Can you say that again? So the return on ad spend should be
1:3. So I would
1:3.
say high
Yeah.
margin, low price products, but high AOV products, it could go 1:5, 1:6, which is great.
Okay. As the D2C landscape is maturing, we're seeing quick commerce as well play a big role in it. How does that fit in for a brand such as yours, and even for others to know that quick commerce is the route that I need to take?
So we are present on quick commerce, but I don't think we have grown very rapidly there. 'Cause I feel like our products are still not instant required in 10 minutes
Yeah.
unless someone wakes up with a neck pain or something.
Yeah.
But we do have our pillows available. We see people buy that a lot. Sheets is a very large game on quick commerce, but we work with a certain quality and pricing. Fitted sheets, cooling sheets, and a certain thread count. But it does work for low price products.
So how do you know, how much to devote to QC? Of course, quick commerce. Of course, it depends on the category that you're in. But being there is absolutely critical, according
Necessary.
to you.
Being everywhere is necessary. Wherever you have visibility.
Yeah. Okay. So, you were a brand initially with zero trust equity. You're breaking into a category. How do you build that trust and make sure that, people actually come to you?
Initially, I should call every consumer, ask them for a review, beg them, got 100 reviews on Amazon, grew that, got a few reviews on Google, grew that as well. Once you have enough of an review base, you've established yourself, you have friends, referral, recommendation, then that flywheel keeps growing, right? It keeps growing organically, it keeps going through word of mouth, it keeps growing through repeat purchase as well. So it takes time, as I said. In any consumer brand, the longer you survive, the better you do.
Okay, that's interesting. And since we spoke about the fact that you started as a one-man army and then you gradually grew, I think what tends to happen with a lot of founders is that they want to micromanage every aspect and every part of the business. But it's important to have the best in the business working for you who can do that for you.
Absolutely.
So can you give us a little bit of a sense as to, relinquishing? Okay, give us a sense a little bit more on giving up control and how it's important to do that as a founder.
Do that as well, right? But you have to do that. I felt like I didn't do that well enough early enough. I felt like if I pushed hard enough to micromanage less and delegate and I let a lot more failure happen in the initial days with a lot of other people, we could have maybe tried, grown faster. I mean, that's what everyone talks about. That's how big companies are built, right? But we've obviously reached a stage where I've learned to do that. And I'm getting better, hopefully, day by day. But delegating, having your team try and fail, allows you to push barriers. It doesn't happen with you trying to control everything. Without any risk, there isn't any reward. And risk has to take place with your team as well.
Absolutely. Giving up control, pushing barriers, that's all very important. And relinquishing control is a big part of that. But, the D2C market is sort of pretty brutal. It's, the winner takes most or the winner takes it all. So how do you, as a company, advise people to be in a fairly competitive landscape? How do you know when you're actually on the right path? Like you said, competition is good and we're all growing in the same way versus someone is eating up a huge pie of what I'm doing and I don't stand a chance.
How do you know whether you're doing well? One is that, you could try switching off marketing for a month and seeing if consumers still come to you, right? Or there is a certain method where you can do a survey as well, where you would ask your consumer that, hey, if I close today, what would you miss, right? If you don't get a positive answer, then you know that, okay, you know what, you're not maybe doing something right. So we've obviously done all that homework as well and understood that, okay, people do value us, people do want us, and if we were missing today, they would be missing something. So there are these frameworks to follow where you can possibly decide early on if you're doing well enough or to pivot or to push harder to do something else. And we've done that. We've gone through that journey.
Can you give me an example or walk me through an instance where you at Sleepy Cat had to realize that now it's time to pivot or this isn't working for me?
So, I mean, it's not about completely pivoting. Feedback thoroughly where we've understood that maybe everything that I built for myself is not necessary that the Indian consumer would love. So, for example, our best-selling mattress is a firm mattress, which is an orthopedic mattress. But I can't sleep on it because it's too firm. I like sleeping on a soft mattress, right? But you have to absorb that level of feedback, right? You have to understand what a consumer wants and keep launching within those guardrails, but also being true to the brand. So a lot of learning has taken place, and a lot of learning has taken place as a brand as well. That, what do you look forward to? If we didn't survive, what would you miss or what wouldn't you miss? Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
What has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned along the way, or one of the biggest mistakes that you made that taught you a lot?
So I'll go back to the team and micromanaging and pushing hard enough. I felt like I would take a lot more risk and early on, and I would think beyond just. I would think larger and long term. I felt like a lot because when you're in a startup and you just started off, it's very hard to sometimes think beyond because you're tackling and you're firefighting daily, right? So you're always thinking short term and micromanaging and trying to solve the immediate problem. Sometimes you have to segregate your brain into two parts, which is the long term and the short term. Short term says, okay, you know what? And you do that daily. That today I'll tackle these 3-4 things which are on fire, but I also need to build for the long term. I felt I had to push much harder for the long term early enough.
Oh, that's very interesting. The segregation of the brain into short term and long term.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can really get very consumed,
You get consumed
into the
into
little
everyday problems. Everyone will come and say, this is not working, this is not working, this is broken.
Yes, absolutely. So it's important to have that long-term vision. Now, you have some commendable investors on board, DSG and Sharp Ventures, etc. Do you wish you'd had investors on board earlier? Because raising money is also an obligation. It's not just an accomplishment. So what's your take on when is the right time to raise, have external investors versus remaining bootstrapped?
So my view, obviously, and now I've seen a lot of the next generation of founders want to raise immediately, right? Before even they launch. Sometimes I feel that's tough. And sometimes I feel that validation for yourself should come from the outside world first. That consumers really buy into your product. Because I feel that that's when you'll get the true sense of what's working before you push it inorganically. So always raise when you have some sort of PMF, which is product market fit, which you know what's working. Having said that, it's not right or wrong. You could do it the other way around as well. But that's what worked for me, which I understood. Launch first, let it grow, then raise. Did I raise enough? Did I push hard enough? Maybe, maybe not. I felt like I could have expanded harder on CapEx early enough.
Okay.
But I'm still here doing it.
So you said raise when you have product market fit. Can you elaborate on that?
So investors obviously value you in a certain way when you obviously have some scale, when you proved that your product is working, when consumers are loving it and they're buying it, as opposed to if you want to raise early on, what happens is that investors don't know how to evaluate you. They don't know how well you're going to do. You don't want to spend that time chasing investors in the early days when also it takes so much effort to raise something without having to prove anything. Also, I feel that the discipline changes, right? If you get money a little early on, what are you focusing on, right? Are you focusing on, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but are you focusing on growth too early on as opposed to correctly solving the problem?
Okay. And it's interesting that you spoke about logistics as one of your big challenges when you started out. When a company faces one sort of stumbling block, how much attention do you have to pay to it? Is it once I smoothen that out, everything else will function much better? Or is it that I pay only a little bit of attention to that issue or that niggling problem that I have?
Oh, I wish we could focus on one thing and the other thing takes time to solve after that, but it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, you're walking the bridge, you're building it, and you're lighting it on fire at the same time. Like it's literally that every single day. I think in the startup world, you could have euphoria and emotional distress on the same day, man. It's like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You could be a winner and you could be like, oh my God, my startup is closing today.
Really,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard.
So, how do you know that the entrepreneurial mindset is meant for you? I mean, you had a cushy job, you were in the States, and you decided to come back and say, this is not for me, I want to start out on my own. But it isn't really that easy.
Direct answer, if you have love for something you want to build, I think you should try that. And after that, the conviction for the product itself will hopefully drive you to build a journey and build on the entrepreneurial side of things.
And you need some thick skin and you need to
Yeah, you have to
have,
show up every day. Rain,
yeah.
hail, storm. It's your bad mood, you're in a good mood, whatever it is, you got to show up, man.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes the difficult part, but persistence, perseverance is what gets you there. And that's also the longevity aspect of it.
Were there times that you didn't want to show up?
Oh my God.
Tell
Too
me
often.
more about that.
Too often, man. I felt like there are days I felt like I didn't want to go solve the problem, or I was sick, or I was not in a good mood and I wanted to sleep in,
Yeah.
right? But I couldn't, right?
Yeah.
And you have to show up, you have to do things. But you've made a decision that you want to, and you feel like you want to prove something to yourself. But beyond that, you want to give something to consumers, man. Saying that, dude, I can provide this to you, you know?
Yeah, the love
So-
for the consumer and the passion for what you're doing is so critical.
Yeah. Because if you can build build the kind of products that you're doing and have consumers love it, and you feel that only you can provide that and the others aren't doing it right now, makes you show up for that every day.
You know, a lot of founders that I speak to continually stress on people being key in a company.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that it's everything. You make them feel empowered, you make them feel entrepreneurial because they're driving your business, the culture and the people. How important is that?
Super important because that's where you build your trust to let go and delegate as well. One of the challenges I had initially in the few years. I think people, culture make a company because there's so much that you can do after a certain point, right? Finding right people, retaining them, building that culture is always difficult, right? I think that is possibly my most important role right now because if I take care of them, they take care of the work. That's how it works.
Okay. And so would you say that there are some sort of myths in the D2C space about the model that you need to follow that you really want to bust?
A myth in the D2C. I feel offline is the new online.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone
Why
thinks
do you say that?
because one is that at least for our products, let's say, it is a touch and feel category. Thank God people bought mattresses online and
Yeah.
we grew, right? But beyond that, I think people are now moving to a complete stage of experience where they want to step out of their phone and their home to go buy the product, go for a coffee, go for a drive, go with friends, go to a store, experience it. And experiential retail is what's growing, right? I think you interviewed the Bombay Shirt Company founder, and they have, I think, a London coffee house. So that's really what it's all about. It's about experience. It's about using real estate beyond your general timing of just sales and when your shop needs to be open. So I think offline is everything. People want to step out for experience. People are going to continuously step out. They want to get away from their phone because they're on their phone all throughout on social and everything else. They don't want to shop there anymore. They want to go try the product. They want to feel it. They want to have that cup of coffee and then in the store. It's everything. So that's the one myth. I feel like offline is everything. It's not online first, which is only D2C. It's cheaper to start online, but offline is where the money is going to be made.
That's so interesting because one would have thought now we're making that complete shift to I'm sitting on my phone. I might as well get everything at my fingertips because there is still that debate with, quick commerce, getting things instantaneously. But for certain categories, experience you think is important.
Absolutely. You should just check the walk-in numbers of malls across USA, even in India. It's just going up and up and up.
What are your, footfalls like? And typically?
So ours is a very different category, right? Ours is like you don't stroll into a mattress store. You got to, yeah. If I'm decided, it's a high intent purchase. So you walk into a mattress store when you're really interested, and also what happens is that in our category, to be able to bring sleep in front of the mind for the consumers, we have a lot of events in store, right? So we use real estate very differently.
Yeah. I think young founders also seem to believe that one of the hardest parts of actually building a company is the product. What would you say the hardest part is?
I think the product is the most important for sure. And because it's the most important, maybe it could be hard. But in my category, I think operations is very hard. Why I say that is because we are in a heavy and bulky category. It's a very different category than, let's say, apparel or beauty and personal care. It's so difficult in logistics because our mattress is still heavy, still slightly larger. So warehousing, logistics, delivery for that, maintaining those product across so much square feet that we require in inventory. That's very difficult for us at the moment.
Tell me all the categories that you're currently present in and which is doing the best for you.
Yeah, we have mattresses, pillows, sheets, comforters. We even have baby mattresses, pet beds. We are now getting into sleepwear, pillow sprays, mist sprays. We also are into certain items like mobility for back cushions, seat cushions. So we have a little bit of a comfort range as well for your office chair or for your car. We really tackle sleep. We even have a lot of products like weighted blankets and throws that help you sleep better. So it's really cool. And a cooling range and a natural range of pillows as well. We've gone deep into sleep, basically. You can come and you can just get your entire sleep box, a full bundle made and just delivered to your doorstep.
Deep into sleep. I like the pun on that.
Yeah.
So what's the game plan for the company? Where do you see yourself headed in terms of your revenue projections? What do you want, or what's your vision as the founder?
So now we have obviously pushing hard. This year we are growing retail, specifically in India. We are also launching across online marketplaces, the GCC and USA this year. So we're really pushing hard because we feel that if you're manufacturing good product, we should be able to provide it to everyone else in the world as well.
Okay.
So that's the game plan for this year. But I think next year it's more of the same growth and maybe entering some new categories.
Okay. Let's get into a quick rapid fire, Kabir, before we let you go. So snappy answers. One metric you think every D2C founder needs to track?
Contribution margin.
Okay.
You want me to explain that? Was
it
good? Okay. Contribution margin is what you're left over. If your product has a certain gross margin, let's say 50%. After that, you have to pay commissions to, let's say, an Amazon or logistics and some marketing fee. What you're left over with, what that product, after all the cost for sale, the contribution margin is what you hold. That's one of the most important ones.
Okay. One thing a competitor did that you wish you had done first?
Rapid scaling and spending.
Okay. India's D2C scene in 2030. Who's going to survive?
Oh my God. I think a lot of niche players. And like you build for a very specific reason, they're going to survive and they're going to do well. India's going to see a lot of 100,000 crore brands of just solving one particular thing.
That's interesting. Yeah, these very niche players. The big mistake that every founder or D2C player makes that they can avoid?
Excessive performance marketing, thinking that it's going to deliver results.
The last product that you personally obsessed over before actually launching it?
The founder's mattress, something that I sleep on. And I thought that if I can make something amazing for myself, people should know what a founder can sleep on. And now we currently just started selling that.
One D2C brand in India, it could be any category that you really admire and look up to?
Not sure if it's absolutely D2C. I love Hunger Inc. I think you were chatting with them. They've really built branding, people, and culture very well.
What's the one thing successful founders do on a typical Monday morning?
One thing they need to do every morning, one thing they shouldn't do every morning is that don't wake up and get onto your emails and check your phone.
Yeah.
I'm trying hard not to do that for the first 15 minutes because it really helps clear your mind.
Absolutely. I think just having that slight time not being
15 minutes, if you can do that without touching your phone when you wake up. The worst thing is to roll over and...
How important is profitability?
It's everything. It's survival.
Finally, how many hours of sleep do you get, Kabir?
A solid 8.
Oh, that's
solid 8 to
killer.
8.5 hours.
Yeah, because I actually read that in order to survive, you need 7, and to thrive, you need 9.
Solid
you're
8.5. The clarity at work and the joy which you walk into the office with once you have deep 8-hour, 9-hour sleep is amazing.
Wow. So kudos to that. Let's hope now that on my, as Indians are taking sleep more seriously and looking at this category, they too can enjoy a restful night's sleep.
Absolutely.
It's been so interesting learning so much from you, Kabir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there you have it, your masterclass in D2C. And Kabir was very honest in sharing with us that you need to be very confident about your product before you begin. It's important that you have the pull factor because you're entering a category that most likely has a lot of people in it. The initial days of growth are important as long as you know that profitability is a metric that you can have. Competition is growing, but you make sure that you grow in the market together. The differentiating factor is important. Tech as well in D2C is fairly critical. And now Indians have moved from just pricing and cheap products to actual quality and are willing to spend. So it's important that you build a niche category, build content yourself if you can from the beginning. Giving up control and pushing barriers is very important. Validation should be firstly from the outside before it is for yourself. When it comes to raising funds, try and do that when you have product market fit. Feedback from customers and customer centricity is everything, and having a solid team is very critical from the start. I certainly hope you enjoyed this episode. Do remember to like, share, subscribe, and do comment as to who else you'd like to see on the show. Thanks everyone for watching. Catch you in the next one.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.